This is Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors.
Welcome into Friday Night Football, the final edition of the 2023 season. I'm Ryan Campo. Look who's here! Sabrina Hoover joining us in studio tonight. 5 Concho Valley teams entering the week alive and well in the area round of the playoffs as they continue on. 5 of those teams looking to keep their season alive, capture yet another gold ball, and spend Thanksgiving weekend playing football. Including the Wall Hawks, who enter the area round with a 9-2 record. The back-to-back District 2 3A Division II champs, thanks to a perfect 5-0 record. Haven't missed a beat since their tough loss to Mason on the road 14-7 in their game since then. 5-6, they've scored 66 points or more, and they've only allowed 24 points combined in those 6 games. A veteran group this year for head coach Houston Guy, who advanced to the regional finals a year ago, using that experience to their advantage this season as they enter the area round matchup against Childress.
Situation last year, they played the same team in the area around last year as well, so they're very familiar with what they do and what they're going to bring to the table. They're a very physical football team. They're very good up front. Their offensive and defensive line have matured from last year. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical, so we've got to contend with that.
It helps a ton knowing that we have 6 or 7 leaders on the defense, because we all know we can count on each other. We have that experience in the playoffs, and we want to make another deep run.
All right, for the second straight year, it's the same 2 teams meeting in the area around 8th ranked Wall, meeting the Bobcats of Childress. A year ago, a dominating 44-10 performance for the boys in green and white. Tonight, the Hawks hold on to win a tight one. They pick up their 7th straight victory tonight to move on to the region semifinals. So thanks to their victory tonight, Wall will be playing Thanksgiving weekend for the 2nd straight year. One of the Region 1 semifinal matchups, including the 8th ranked Wall and the Eagles of Lubbock Roosevelt, who beat Crane tonight 2014. This will be the first meeting between the 2 next week. The details of this game are to be determined.
Well, good news for the Wall Hawks. Another team that has dominated this season here in the Concho Valley, the Sonora Broncos, who topped Anson last week in the bi-district round thanks to a late touchdown and 2-point conversion with just over 2 minutes left. The Sonora Broncos have looked like a well-oiled machine this season despite a boatload of injuries, including to star quarterback Jaime Butron. The Broncos never missed a beat. A tough Week 11 loss to Fort Sam by just 2 points following some more injuries to key players. It's been next man up mentality for a team that has over 20 seniors that made it to the regional semifinals a year ago and look to do the same with a victory tonight over Farwell.
It brings us a lot of motivation. That game was really tight, and it shouldn't have been like that, but, I mean, we weren't 100% healthy. But we're working to get healthy this week and push and beat this team worse than we did last week. Really, all they do is hand off to number 2, and we just got to stop number 2, stop the rest of their team, and we can win this ball game.
I think the running back is great. He's pretty big kid, and the QB's pretty good, too. We need to contain him and get to him pretty quickly.
And for the 2nd year in a row, it's the Steers and Broncos in the area round. A season ago, the Broncos took down Farwell 18-7, and tonight, a statement made by the Broncos as they dominate from start to finish in this one, knocking off Farwell tonight 42-14 the final. The rematches continue for the Sonora Broncos. Farwell for the 2nd straight year in the area round tonight. Next week, a rematch of last year's regional semifinals and this year's regional semifinals. The defending champs in Hawley versus Sonora. Date, time, and location of this one to be determined.
All right, 2 down, 3 more to go as we continue our look back on the last 2 nights for the area round of the final 5 here in the Concho Valley of the 2023 season. When we come back, we check in on the Mason Punchers, the 9th ranked team in the state, the final undefeated team here in the area. They took a trip down to San Marcos last night. We'll have that more after the break.
Welcome back into Friday Night Football. One Concho Valley team entered the week still with a goose egg in the loss column, the 9th ranked Mason Punchers. I had a chance to chat with the team ahead of their area round with Ganado.
We're a 4-quarter team. I always tell them, we didn't sign up to come play 2 quarters and watch the other 2.
Starting their playoff quest, the Mason Punchers notched a 28-7 victory against the Thrall Tigers, asserting dominance in the second half, outscoring them 21-0. This win propelled the Punchers to the area round for the 2nd consecutive year.
It took us 2 quarters. I wouldn't say we come out flat, but, they're going to come out swinging and giving us their best shot. And, you'd like to see our team come out and maybe be a little more decisive in the first half. But what we ended up doing in the second half was just kind of catch our stride tried, and they kind of started to wear out. And man, again, our kids just came out ready to play.
On Thursday night, the Punchers will face the Ganado Indians in the area round, renewing their acquaintance. Mason has a history with the Indians, having defeated them in the bi-district round in 2011, an event vividly in the memory of head coach Michael McLeod.
Man, what a game that was. That was my first year back in Mason, and they're a completely different ball club. They still have a lot of the same identity in their community and their culture. They're a hard-nosed football team, different style of offense per se, but their defense is attacking. They have team speed. They play hard. They're physical, and so it's going to be a great football game.
Maintaining an undefeated record this season and earning consecutive appearances in the area round, a victory against the Indians would hold importance. It presents an opportunity to sustain the success cultivated throughout this season.
It means a lot to us, knowing that our work is paying off. It's not paid off, but it's paying off. And I know the team we have now, we've got it, but we're just going to take it one game at a time.
The athlete's mindset remains consistent each week, and it's a trait that has developed throughout the course of this season.
The teams that continue to play are the teams that want to continue to come to practice and want to continue to play. I mean, that want to has a lot to do with their motivation, and that's kind of their homework, in the postseason. And so we've had a great week of preparation, and the excitement's there. The atmosphere is going to be there, and so I hope our kids are ready to execute.
And as for their game last night, the lone Thursday night game for teams around here in the Concho Valley, the 9th-ranked Punchers made the trip over to San Marcos to meet with Ganado as these two met for the first time since 2011, like y'all saw earlier, in third all-time meeting. Last night, a tough go for the Punchers. Their season comes to an end as they finished the year 11-1. A lot to be proud of for that team.
Amen to that. History made last Thursday night for the Miles Bulldogs football team. They picked up their first playoff win since 2014. She was there.
I was.
Matched their season high with wins with 8. Ready for win number 9 here tonight. It was a statement victory by the Bulldogs last Thursday night over at San Angelo Stadium. A shutout over Sterling City. Team who ended their season a year ago back in week 2. Also defeated them by just 4 points. Miles took those losses personal, left it all on the field as they moved on to the area round tonight, gearing up for a tough Collinsville team who sits at number 4 in Class 2A Division number 2.
We've shown that we can play well in spurts. We can play really good in spurts, and it just happened to be that we put all of it together last Thursday, and defense really stepped up and played extremely well for us. So we're just hoping that continues. But yeah, I think it was just one of those deals, just timing, and things coming together for us.
Feels us a lot. I mean, we don't get a lot of credit around here, and I think that we should start getting more credit because we are good enough to be that team that people are talking about and stuff like that. And I think we got the guys to do it, and we put in the work every single day to do that.
All right, so the Bulldogs looking to prove those doubters wrong, taking on 4th-ranked Collinsville tonight over at Buckaroo Stadium in Breckenridge. But it's the Pirates who come out with the victory. Miles finishing the season once again with 8 wins, tying a record for most from last year. And then again, way back in 2010, Miles finishing the season 8-4. Lots to be proud of from that senior class.
Amen again. That does it for the 4 11-man Concho Valley teams in action here the past 2 days in the area round. When we come back, we head down to the 6-man ranks. The Brought Longhorns facing off against 4th-ranked Richland Springs, looking for yet another upset here tonight. Those highlights and more after the break. Welcome back.
Last Friday night.
Thank you, Katy Perry.
Nailed it.
And all the bi-district round from around the state as the Brought Longhorns topped 9th-ranked Rising Star to pick up their first 6-man playoff win. A team that has battled a lot of adversity this season hasn't slowed them down one bit, as the 2023 season will be one that gets remembered for a while. Made the playoffs thanks to a last-minute touchdown over Blackwell, picked up their first playoff win in 6-man a week ago, all with a new head coach as Rocky Rawls makes his return to the sidelines for Brought, looking to continue their season tonight.
We're just getting more and more physical every week, and we're pretty beat up. We've lost some kids for the year. We've got some that are beat up now, but they're battling through it, and they believe in themselves right now. It's just total. It's just amazing what they believe that they didn't believe even 4 weeks ago.
We just have to go in there and be confident and know that we can win this game and just do everything we can and leave it all on the field and don't leave with any regrets.
Let's head out to the highlights. To Mertzen we go. The Longhorns taking on 4th-ranked Richland Springs. Longhorns with possession. Jayton Galvin hands it off to Spencer Smith, finding a big hole, bouncing off some defenders. He's met at midfield to give Bront a spark they need. Coyotes looking for something. Kenny Triplett pitches out to Billy Perry. He'll find a huge hole, cutting in the end zone. He'll be in for 6 in the first points for Richland Springs. To the second quarter we go. Pitch out to none other than Perry. Breaks not 1, but 2 and 3 tackles. Longhorns can't get him. Coyotes continuing their dominance. A few plays later, it's the same duo. Triplett to Perry. He makes a few men miss. And there that man goes. Nothing but green grass and pay dirt in front of him. That'll make it 32-0 Richland Springs. The final tonight. Bront season comes to an end tonight. Their historic season in the area round. 46-0. Sabrina was out there earlier tonight. Has more from Erie County.
Yeah, Ryan, as Coach Rocky Rawls mentioned earlier this week, this Coyote team isn't big, but their speed is impressive, and that agility was shown tonight in their dominant performance over the Longhorns, defeating them 46-0 in the area round. Billy Perry and Gage Behrens led that Coyote offense tonight, and the Longhorns just struggled running the ball against their defense. However, a great story for the Longhorns, first ever 6-man playoff appearance in school history, and first ever playoff appearance for the program since 2015. So a lot to be proud of. They end the season 4-8 overall and 2-1 in district play. Reporting from OK Wolfenbarger Field, I'm Sabrina Hoover. I'll send things back to you guys in the studio.
This live shot is sponsored by AFCO Steel.
How?
That was weird.
You tossed it to yourself. Nice. Good job.
Thank you. When we come back, we take a look at those regional round matches for Thanksgiving weekend, plus wrap up the 2023 Friday night football season. That and more after the break.
All right, before we head on out of here, time to look at those 2 regional semifinal games for next week involving Concho Valley teams. Wall and Sonora, they're bringing back gold balls to the Concho Valley, and they get to spend Thanksgiving weekend, hopefully not eating too much. They got a game to play. Class 3A Division II, Region number 1. The Wall Hawks will take on the Eagles of Lubbock Roosevelt, an all-out bird battle in the regional semifinals. They appreciate that. Details of this game still to be determined. And then down in Class 2A, Division I, Region number 1, another rematch for the Sonora Broncos. This time, it's the regional semifinals when they take on Hawley next week. The Bearcats won a year ago over at San Angelo Stadium, but the Broncos want revenge this season, bring back another gold ball, keep their season alive. This game also still to be determined in terms of details. All right, so before we go, we wanted to, have some reminiscent, cry a little bit, take some...
Where's our tissues?
I forgot mine. We wanted to look back at some teams that caught our eye from being on the sidelines during these last 12 weeks of Friday.
Lord.
It felt like it. Friday Night Football. So, Sabrina, give me a couple teams, not the whole Concho Valley, but give me a couple that surprised you, impressed you throughout the season.
There's a few, but I have to start with the Bront Longhorns. We already talked about them earlier, but, I want to first highlight them. Even though Rocky Rawls had previous history with the Longhorns, this was his first year back with the program, and what a year he had. Going out to practices each week, he stayed confident, even though his team had lost their star running back Cole Knight early in the season. And after that big blow, they lost defensive end Roy Flores once district play began. But then they went on a 5-game losing streak before district play, and look at the season they put together. First ever 6-man appearance in the playoffs and captured their first playoff victory in 6-man with that upset victory over Rising Star. Truly impressed with how he built this program.
Also, shout out, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Shout out to the girls volleyball team as well. Been quite the last couple weeks for Bront ISD.
And some of them were on the cheer team, and so I saw them tonight.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Also, I want to end with the Sonora Broncos to go without their top leader, Jaime Boutron, throughout the beginning of the season and produce a successful season up until his comeback is truly remarkable. Just shows how good that coaching staff is and the players that stepped up to fill the pieces that were missing without Boutron, and in the leading spot you can only imagine. So they almost ended the regular season undefeated, but they fell to San in that final game of the season. But still, truly impressed with how they handled the adversity and challenges that were thrown at them.
And they still got another game to play.
They really do, Ryan.
Yeah, so see how they go against Hawley. Absolutely. All right, so a couple more from me before we go. We'll stay with the 11-man. We'll stay in District 2, or excuse me, 3-2A, Division 1. Well, how about the Ozona Lions? An impressive season for head coach Jared Taylor and company. Their first district title since 2016, sharing it with Forsan and Sonora. They played 4 playoff teams who are still in the playoffs as we speak. Tough this year. Wink, Mason, Miles, Sonora. Obviously, a couple of those have lost tonight. Before Raton-Law, 4 straight in district play. That young team they had a year ago showed up and showed out, finishing above the 500 mark for the first time since way back in 2020. And then we'll go back down to the 6-man ranks. The Steers from Robert Lee, we knew they'd be good with the amount of talent they had coming back, but to actually do it is another thing. First playoff appearance since 2019, back-to-back 8-win seasons under head coach Lee McCone, a graduate of Robert Lee. Congrats to all the teams from the Concho Valley on great seasons.
It made us enjoyable for us to go out there and
absolutely
cover them.
We're still not done. We got games next week. What are you talking about?
Talking about some of the teams, but it was just great to go out there and talk to the coaches, athletes, what's going on. Just hearing how they did every single week was awesome to hear. So,
all right, we appreciate you all sticking around, hanging out with us on this final Friday night. Shout out to the crew in the back for keeping us alive during these shows. For Sabrina Hoover, I'm Ryan Campo. Have a great weekend.
Catering for Friday Night Football is provided by Chick-fil-A. Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors. For more on today's stories,
Closed captioning
visit
for the hearing impaired is sponsored by the Law
ConchoValleyHomepage.com.
Office of Rick DeHoyas. Closed captioning for the hearing impaired is sponsored by the Law Office of Rick DeHoyas.